Tears of joy. I want to be the best coach and lead some young men, not just on the court, but off the court. Those guys back there are going to be in the trenches with me. Now, I get the keys.
What an emotional day in Ann Arbor. Juwan Howard introduced as the new head coach of the Michigan Wolverines. He joins us now from our studio on the University of Michigan campus. And Juwan, first of all, it was amazing to watch you react throughout this news conference, particularly before and at the very outset of your introduction. What were you thinking when the tears were flowing there? What were you thinking about?
Well, I was thinking about how excited I was to be back home here at the University of Michigan. I never dreamt of the fact that I would ever coach and be the head basketball coach of the University of Michigan. And then I started thinking about like my grandmother and all the things that she always instilled in me, the advice she gave me moving forward in life. And then I started thinking about living in Chicago and growing up in the inner city and how a guy from the inner city of Chicago was able to make it this far.
Juwan, I know your grandmother was such an influential part of your early life. For people who don't know that story, kind of fill them in on the role she played and really the tragedy, right, as you committed to Michigan.
Well, my grandmother was, the person who I consider like a mother and father combined. She was my legal guardian. My grandmother, during the time when I was being recruited, coming out of Chicago Vocational High School, there were a lot of schools that she knew that was interested in me signing to go there and play at, their school. And so there was one school that she was more excited about, but she never told me, and that was the University of Michigan. She respected Steve Fisher and his staff and felt that that was the best staff that would help develop me and become a young man. The time when I signed with the University of Michigan, that day when I signed my letter of intent, that was the same day that my grandmother passed away. And I guess she felt at that time it was her time to go. She was happy with who was going to take over and be that person to help, guide me, look over for me, and and just teach me how to grow to become a man. And she was right. Coach Fisher was that person who I considered not only just my coach, but like my father.
Really an amazing story. You talk about your time at Michigan, and it clearly influenced you in so many ways. What was the biggest thing that was pulling you back? Because as you mentioned, there were NBA opportunities, there were other things out there. Why did this feel like this was the job you had to take?
Well, coming from the Miami Heat culture, and I got a chance to work for a guy like Eric Spoelstra, who I learned from, who I respect tremendously. Then learning from Pat Riley, understanding what Mickey, Madeline Arison, as well as Andy Ellsberg has helped welcome me into their family. Looking back, I'm like, wow, I'm leaving something special that I've grown with, that I have is an extension of my own family. Now, they prepared me for this day. And I say, you know what? This is the time for me to just go ahead and accept this new challenge in life. And I'm going back to a place that I know. That hold a dear place in my heart and a place that I've always called home. So this is the time. This is the right time to leave now.
You were talking today about adjustments to the college game, and you were asked about that, and you discussed recruiting in particular and kind of figuring out the ins and outs of the rule book and all that type of stuff. I'm interested in the biggest adjustment to being a head coach. And this is the first time that you will have done that as well. What do you anticipate is going to be that biggest challenge?
Well, I prepared for this day. 6 years of coaching in the NBA, learning from, like I mentioned earlier, Eric Spoelstra, helping with the game plan day after day for those 82 game schedule for each year after year. Now that I get a chance to go after something that I truly enjoy, and that's coaching, or something it's a big passion of mine, is teaching and developing. Being a part of that player development stage has prepared me for moments like this. And yes, this is my first time being a head coach, and I'm excited about the opportunity, but I'm also excited about the chance to work with some guys who are experienced in the head coaching field in college basketball, and then more importantly, working with a staff that I know I can trust, that I can lean on, to help develop me.
Yeah, what will be the characteristics you're looking for in a staff, Juwan?
Well, a staff that's pretty much egoless, hardworking, grinders, a group that enjoys teaching, passionate about the game of basketball, and a group that really enjoy, having a chance to teach.
You are taking over for a guy who was the consummate teacher in John Beilein. And of course, the bar's been set really high. I mean, it's a challenging time to take over Michigan, just when you consider, the last 7 national championship games, they played in 2 of them. How will you define success for you and for your program at Michigan?
That's an understatement. What Coach Beilein done for this program, he's been phenomenal. I've watched from afar. I've been a big fan of Coach Beilein. Every summer, I'll always come back and visit the university. I'll sit down and do the chalk talk. The times we walked on the court, I'll teach him. But more importantly, he didn't know I was learning from him more than anything. The guy has been a success everywhere he's gone. Now he's going to Cleveland. Truly, I'm going to be supporting of him. I've called him before I took the job just to get a little feedback, a little history of as far as Michigan. So, before I got hired, anyone would have came in after Coach Beilein is under tremendous pressure because he's basically set the groundwork of what Michigan basketball, what the Michigan tradition and culture is all about.
Juwan, you are a part of maybe the most celebrated recruiting class in college basketball history, certainly the most celebrated one in the University of Michigan history, and it has not always been an easy road since you guys left Ann Arbor with the Fab Five. What has it meant here in the last week or so to see all of those guys unifying behind you and unifying behind your school?
It's a special time, special moment to see my brothers who, we've been through the trenches together, we've grown together, been through adversity together. There were some winning moments, there were some losing moments. But at the end of the day, as we gotten older, now it's 25 years later, and that relationship hasn't changed at all. Chris has been super supportive and been also vocal. And me being able to have a chance to coach here at University of Michigan, we all know what Jalen been doing. And Jalen has said it from day one. And I'm so proud to know that I have 2 guys like that that's fighting hard for me, but more importantly, respect me on that level and trust me. I'm definitely going to roll up my sleeves and get going and teaching the game of basketball the way how I learned, but more importantly, help developing on the court, being hands-on. If I have to be up in the practices and get into the drills and help with the drills, I'm going to do that. Wherever it takes, there's no job that's beneath me. Because I'm the head coach doesn't mean that I can't get on the court and help teach our young guys, especially the post players, something that, I know very well that position, and I know how to, build that position, develop in that position. Truly, I will be hands-on in teaching it.
Well, Juwan, I know it's been a whirlwind of a week for you. Congratulations. We look forward to working with you here at BTN. Thanks for taking some time out to speak with us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.